Peace. Peace, power and soul and activation is the activated AF1. Once again, you got the United Futurtarians back through the cyberverse, hitting y'all with another video. And this one is going to pretty much just put the nail in the coffin on the purpose while we're linking up like Legos in this day and time. And we're just going to keep moving forward. One thing I'm going to do right now, share the video to all the council members. Give me 1 second. Just be patient. Yes. We are back to the cyberverse. It's the activated AF1. Shout out to all the council members. We are the United Futurtarians. And we're going to hit you with this video. Sending out the signal to the ones on the planet. Sending out the signal to the ones on the planet. Sending out the signals to the ones on the planet. Get straight into it. See, when you're dealing with law of attraction, the law of attraction is always going to state magnetism, and something's always going to pull you into something if you are connected to it. There's an old saying that says that you attract what you put out. You attract what you put out. Now that saying is a powerful saying, because if you come outside your house, and I'm talking about on a consistent level, you come out your house on a consistent level and you're dressed mediocrely, and then what happens is you're going to attract mediocre people. I'm not saying you can't run into advanced people, mentally advanced people, because you're dressed that way, because it's not about the clothes. I'm just saying that you'll attract them, but that doesn't mean you have to deal with them and mess with them. Go through this stuff every day, just being in society. And this is the signal. When you're dealing with, what was that one movie, Batman? When Batman, remember when he was in Gotham City? Batman was in Gotham City, and then what they do, they sent the signal out in the air. It was an emergency. Well, this is an emergency. This is the global state of emergency. This to all the ones out there that have potential to be activated, because now we're moving into this state where, you're dealing with the collective, you're dealing with a unit of people that is on the same mind frame. It's real simple when you go deal with regular people in society. It starts to take a toll on you mentally, and it starts to weigh down on you. That's why when you're dealing with the Futurtarian, that's why we always stay connected with each other, because we know there's nothing else to be out there doing but to stay connected and keep stuff moving forward. As we linking up and people are just relying on their households and the community that they live in, always moving past the norm, moving past community, moving past church, moving past consciousness, moving past woke, moving past the norm, moving past books, moving past religion, moving past doctrines, moving past physical, moving past money, moving past everything, passing up everything, just like the Flash. When the Flash would just pass you up, you don't know what happened. But by the time the Flash passed you up, it was too late. He was already 1 mile, 2 miles down the road, and you still trying to catch up. While Flash Gordon's mustard, you trying to catch up. So moving in, this is a signal. We putting out the APB. The APB to the ones out there. Where y'all at? Where y'all at, ones? Where you at? Because now that the portal's open, we already know. But it takes that's why I said it takes the mind. The mind's going to activate the soul. The mind will activate the soul. So, because we already know when you're dealing with the global emergency, I'm not even going to say state emergency no more. We're dealing with the global emergency and emerge. What is the merging what? The electricity. The elect. It's time for the merger. If you want to be dinking around and still be, if you want to be a Googler to the day you die, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. But there's ones out there that's tired of even doing that. What's next after Google, Siri, and Alexa? Webster Dictionary, books, encyclopedia. Your mind is no limit. Your mind is no limit. So what happens when you steadily tapping into those frequencies? It becomes limited. You could be limitless or limited. Knowing that the time that we are living in this present state, to stay focused into the future, is very critical to have people on their mind frames to stay on point. Because when you figure out that mind power and extendedness is what is going to move things forward, because everything else has been tried already. Dealing with the so-called blacks. Everything has been tried multiple times, and each time it failed. It fell to darkness, oblivious. It fell to nothing of any substance of the next generation being extended. That's one thing about the generation Alpha, generation A, the power just maneuvering through society, not letting the TV, the radio stations, the news stations, not letting any of that taint your mind, even when you watch it. Dissecting that just like a scalpel and a frog. Mentally dissecting stuff. Taking a paragraph and just taking your mental scalpel out and putting each word on the table and spreading it out. You notice how they do that? You notice on the CSI movies, remember they go into the shredder? They will be doing an investigation and they'll be like, well, check the shredder. They'll go into the shredder and grab all the shreds and they throw them on the table, and then they slowly start putting everything back together. Yeah, that happens with the mind also. See, everything in the physical is actually can be done with the mental. I'm going to repeat myself. Everything in the physical can actually be done in the mental. So I use that as an example because everything that's dissected can be re-put together, reconstructed, especially dealing with reincarnation, or should I say Ra incarnation. Ra incarnation, reincarnation's here. Ra incarnation is extending, is ascending, the ascension. Leaving something worth futuristic on the planet, because in order for you to stay in the future, you have to have this place be futuristic and move forward, so it doesn't affect the future. It's the same thing as the movie The Terminator. I keep using that as an example because as above, so below, that is actually real. I tell people everything that you see around you, when you're dealing with fiction and nonfiction, it is real. It's just not in this planet or on this dimension. Every thought that people have on this planet, it comes from somewhere. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. That's why we're sending the APB to signal out to the ones. This is the bat sign. This is the bat symbol right here. This is the bat symbol, man, sitting in the sky above Gotham, above that high rise, that skyscraper. Those skyscrapers. Because if you really go back, once you start going through the cyberverse, when you hear these videos and you feel that you're one and you feel that you need to be around certain ones that's on your same mind frame, then you're going to find out as time goes on that people are not going to be on your same mind frame, because they're always going to take something and try to mix it in with the past. It happens all the time. That is not pure. That's not genuine. That's not futuristic. That's still mixing up the past with the past. I'm going to give you an example, because I always have to give 3D examples for people that are a little bit slow. That's like at conscious level. Now, if you got some fresh meat and you got some old meat, Then you got some fresh, say you got some fresh ground, grass-fed bison meat that's fresh. Then you got some bison meat that's been old and is spoiled, but you still try to mix it up. You still try to mix it up with the fresh meat and cook it. You're gonna taste the old more than the fresh. You're gonna taste the old more than the fresh. That's how it is with the mind, mixing up intel with information and trying to put it in your gumbo pot. It's not going to work. That's why these people that come over here and do that, they always fail, because we always tell y'all, man, you gotta be around like-minded minds, like the Brother Zarez says, like-minded minds. Actually, you don't got to, but you'll feel the effect, the mental effect, when the solar rays and when Pluto wraps around in the solar rays start to beam down harder on the planet, and you're gonna see all these mental breakdowns on a massive scale. Non-activated. Non-activated. Going back to the junk DNA, to DEA. The protecting code genetic system. Dealing with the organic ore shield. The unseen organic ore shield being activated. Go back to the movie The Black Panther. What did they have when Thanos came down to I forgot what that, Wakanda, right? What they activated? They activated the shield. They had to activate the shield, what? To hold back the soldiers, the foot soldiers, the first line of defense. You have the same mechanism in your body. Dealing with the unseen and the seen. All this stuff is going to be played out. People are just sitting back watching, and they want intel videos. Intel videos. It's like, we got those. We got them. We got them. But it's like, once we link up, it's pretty much like unexplainable. It's unexplainable to like people that are not on the same mind frame. That's why it's the signal. That's why it's sending out the signal. We're sending out the world global signal. Globally, the signal's being put out right now through what? The cyberverse. When I went back and said we all Neo, I went back and said that, right? And I heard a couple of teachers talking about, well, we all Neos. But before then, they were just talking about Neo as just an individual. But then when they heard the Futurtarians videos, now we all Neo. No. You could be Neo as an individual and see how that goes for you. See how that goes for you and see the mental breakdowns that you're going to start seeing even with teachers on the internet. Even with the Dr. Phils on the internet, the so-called Dr. Phils on the internet, mental breakdowns will happen because as they're not moving as one unit, one mental force, one collective unit. They still want to be individuals, and that's fine. My suggestion to the teachers out there that are trying to teach on an individual level, when the solar rays hit, it's going to make you go crazy. So that's why I keep telling people on the internet that's teaching, it's like your best bet, if you want to just maintain your household, maintain, your relationships, your wife or your spouse or your husband, that's the stage that, because these frequencies and these rays are just going to start going up even stronger, as these videos circulate, because it's always going to be about the Avengers, the mental Avengers, man, dealing with, even going back to when I broke down the superhero powers on the Futurtarian Activation channel, how all the superhero powers were not they were on a physical realm, but not like the Avengers and not like that. So I had to break it down. You can go on the Futurtarians Activation channel and go to the Avengers and see how I broke down all the superhero powers, because when it was talking about when I'm gonna give you one example. When it was talking about when Cyclops, he had what? He had the laser retinas. Cyclops had the laser retinas. What was that? What was that representing? It wasn't representing lasers in a physical. The Cyclops lasers was representing a laser focus, going straight. You know what I'm saying? Not looking to the sides, not looking back, just having the laser focus straight, seeing the target and just keep going. You know, that's why I tell you, you know, there's no limit to this stuff, man. There's no limit. That's why that laser it kept going. I always use that one as an example because it's not like literal. You're not going to open up your eyes and be able to take your sunglasses off and shoot the robber in your house. It's not going to happen. So just going back, I forgot what date that was when everybody was like, yeah, we're supposed to get superhero power. And, you know, some people, because, you know, we activated, so we already knew some people were just using that just for, you know, clout chasing. But then they had some people that really believed that. And it was the same thing with that guy who said Jesus was going to come back. And at that time, I was at conscious, and I'm like, that day is going to come, that day is going to pass. And that's what happened. That day came, that day passed. Because they still live in a belief system. They still believe, a lot of people still believe that 200 million chariots is going to come out the sky, put the white man in slavery, and give power to cats that's dressed up like Goku and Gohan. Now, if that don't sound like a Harry Potter book, I don't know. That sounds like a straight up Harry Potter book to me. 200 million. Do you know how many a million is? 200 million? Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to the topic, sending out the signals to the ones on the planet. The signals, we sending them out. We sending out the signals. You know, you want to see it. You want to see if you trying to communicate with us. If you want to use it on a astrology level, you know, hit the cyberverse, man. Why do you think these signal wave towers is up right now? You think they're just up just to entertain you? Some people really think they're just up to entertain them and up for them to make money. That's just a coping mechanism to make sure that some of you guys don't go through mental breakdowns when these rays start beaming more on the planet. That's why I said, man, everything is real. You're dealing with vampires. Vampires is real. I saw something on that like 10 years ago. This dude literally was drinking blood, sharpened his teeth, got his teeth sharpened, was drinking real blood, and was biting his girlfriend's wrist. So you mean to tell me vampires ain't real? And he was trying to stay out the sun as much as possible. See, that's a vampire. It's not. I'm not saying that if you shoot him in his head, he won't die. The whole point I'm making is, but his mindset was set on being a vampire. Because I tell everybody everything's going through the mental first, and then from the mental you go to the soul activation. Mental first, and you go into the soul activation. This is a signal out to the ones, because y'all out there. You got to activate. Once you activate, well, what is activation? If one activation is just dealing with intel and always keeping your mind focused on that. And how you gonna do that is to be around like mine. Ain't nobody else. I'm telling you, man. Everybody else on the planet they're gonna talk about junk DNA being activated, this and that, but then they're gonna mix in we all kings. They're going to be like, yeah, the junk DNA, this and that. Then they're going to say, we're all kings on the planet, because they have to mix in the O, because that's just validation that they're not activated. They're not tapped into the source. They always got to mix something old in with this futuristic stuff that we've been putting out for the last 2-3 years. Y'all see them on the internet talking about 11, 11, 11. Wasn't nobody talking about and pushing that till the Futurtarians start pushing it. Then teachers, what? The example that I'm making is that in order for you to stay consistent with the intel, you have to be around ones that are consistent with it also. It's the same thing as if you want to be a good dancer. If you want to be a good dancer, where do you go? You go around people that dance. You go to maybe a spot or a studio, or you might go to somebody's house where you guys practice at this and that. If you're focused on dancing, you're not finna go down to the nail salon. Not gonna go to the nail salon and be like, hey guys, y'all want to just start dancing up in here? They're gonna be looking at you like, nigga, you better go to a dancing studio or something. That's the point I'm making. See, that's the reason why they can't stay consistently tapped in, because they're not around the intel. They're not around it. Same way dealing with dealing with the metaphoric rappers. When I broke that down, the metaphoric rappers and how they used to tap into the upper dimensions, but then as soon as they got done recording or writing, they'll tap back down to this three-dimensional realm. They couldn't stay up there, because in order for you to stay up there consistently, you got to be around ones that are up there. This is not rocket science. It's really, really, really easy. So that's the examples that I use, because even if that's why I use the example with the ground bison, just cooking. If you're cooking with old food and you got fresh food, it don't matter if you balance it out where you got a pound of this and a pound of that. One's old, molded, other one's fresh. Mix it up. I guarantee you're not going to taste the fresh more than you taste the old. And that's how it is with their minds. They don't taste the intel as much as they taste the information. Using it on a physical aspect, on that level, to give somebody a three-dimensional mind frame that has that three-dimensional mindset. And that's the reason why that you see people on the internet they're trying to, but they just can't stay there. Why they can't stay there? AF1, entertainment, information, Google, Siri, and Alexa, books, validation point. Everybody want a validation point. They want confirmation from somebody they don't even know. You know how silly that sounds? You want confirmation from somebody you don't even know. But then when we come with intel and you're like, damn, I just Googled that and it's not even in Google, Siri, and Alexa, but the way they saying it makes sense though. Because the stuff from the future is going to make sense. It's just it's not in a computer. It's not in a book. Sending out the signal, the APB. You're sending out the signal to the ones on the planet. This is it. It's the signal. But shout out to the Futurtarians. Shout out to the brother Cosmos. He's in the chat. Cosmos in the chat. Got the brother Zarez on the panel. If you want to tap in, Zarez, and touch on this topic, go ahead.
Yes, a wonderful breakup and live by the brother AF1. Check him out every Monday and Tuesday at 8:30 CST here on Podbean as Futurtarians Activation Channel again every Monday and Tuesday at 8:30 CST. Futurtarians Activation Channel on Podbean. So wonderful breakup topic by the brother AF1. Sending out signals to the ones on the planet ultimately is, like how I mentioned before, that we are putting out a solar hum or a solar beacon, and it's being registered in this dimension, but it's also being, what you say, echoed and being felt in the upper and outer dimensions by our highest dimensional selves, whether it be in 13th dimension or the fourth, but they sense a shift, what you say, here in this state because of the radiance. Again, we're beginning to evolve, and again, our solargy, by way of us coming together through council, is basically, again, is putting out that neutral frequency, that amplified shockwave of activation next now. So again, we are ones walking with ones, only bring forth power as the 11,111 to the 111 power. So that 11,111 to the 111 power is basically us ascending to that exponential number of that 111 being the fact that dealing with exponents in mathematics, we learn through, what you say, raising the power, 2 to the 4th power, 1 to the 4th power, et cetera, et cetera. So again, we are ones ascending to that fourth foundation, or that fourth format of, again, no longer having to, sleep and wake up, or again, die and be, what you say, reincarnated, or being, what you say, brought back here, as far as, being born again back in this dimension. So we're only going to keep ascending forward and keep on, what you say, bringing forth power. So sending out the signals to the ones on the planet. This is, again, like what the F1 said, ABP, or again, that what you say, that signal, that call To 911. So we answer the call to 911 as these, what you say, janitors, as these cleaners of the planet, and we're further only going to clean shit up. So again, this signal that's being sent out to those ones here on this planet is to further have them come and again help and again bringing forth the purification, the soul purification of Earth, the soul purification of the 3D. So yes, moving forward, that's ultimately going to be felt, and it will be seen. Again, as we keep moving forward, again, the ones who came over here, the ones who are still picking through the blinds, again, you ain't gonna have no choice. There won't be any other choices but to again to come still picking through the blinds. Again, you ain't gonna have no choice. There won't be any other choices but to again to come together. And again, for the ones who still want to keep holding out or still being those gatekeepers of what you say to the newborns, pretty much, again, it's only going to basically come to a point where again they're going to ultimately answer that call to the 911, and then again they're going to come over here because again, all how you think this happened, because all that shit that was held, think about how much was basically being held back. And now that we came together, and again, all that was being held back, it ultimately made us slingshot forward because of that whole stagnation, that whole, what you say, mental looping process, that basically, because it was being held back and being looped, it only allowed it for more power for it to eventually break, for us to be those ones to break up, out of, say that the humanist ideas and mindsets to further do what? To shift the planet forward. Again, our future souls came from these upper and outer dimensions and came down here and activated this vessel. And now we're here shifting things forward as activationists. So again, this signal is for those right ones. If you feel that you're one, then again, if not even if you feel, that you're special. You know that you're different from, again, these people that we call regulars and zeros ultimately. So again, if you feel like that you're, a purposeful and you have something to offer or bring to the table, then, we're here. The council is being formed, and for those who can't, what you say, fathom that, or they're so, what you say, they got their head up their ass. Again, it's like, we're not waiting for nobody. We're going to keep moving forward and keep extending our souls and minds forward, because that's the only thing that has kept us in alignment and balance to the intel. Nothing else. Again, that's why you can't be half stepping. There's no, again, dibbling and dabbling in information and then trying to, again, say that you're activated future person. No. Your future, and that's it. It's one choice. You may have many options, but you only have one fucking choice. Two options, and this state is either, again, move to the future or, again, stay in the past. But that one choice that you make, it will only seal your fate. Your fate, again, to be a pathitarian or a futuritarian. Next now. So go ahead, brother F1.
Yeah, wonderful breakup by the brother Zarez. Just go back and look at the series, the X-Men. What was Xavier's whole plan when he was gathering them?
Exactly.
Xavier, he knew that the one, because he at one point he only had a couple of them, but he knew, and Xavier never gave up. He never gave up. He steady was looking. Every time he would find one, he would bring them there. They would work together as what? The collective unit, right? They would work together as a collective unit. Especially then, you got the Avengers also. When the planet was in a state of emergency, it was, I forgot her name. The chick with the two guns. From the Avengers, it was her and the Hawk. One of the Avengers, they started going to go look for everybody. It's the same thing, man. And dealing with the reality of the state right now, the state of emergency in the planet, sending out the APB, the signal out. It's going to go through the cyberverse. It's going to bounce off Sirius A. It's going to bounce off the moon. It's going to bounce off the sun. It's going to bounce off the Earth's core. It's going to bounce off Saturn like a ping pong ball. It's going to bounce off Neptune. It's going to bounce off Pluto. And it's going to bounce off and shake this whole galaxy and into the upper dimensions, dealing with the ripple effect. Because now that this activation is being set forth in this present state, like the brothers Reyes, the upper dimensions is feeling this. I won't be surprised if they're listening now, because they're tired of the shit. The same merry-go-round. When you on a merry-go-round, what is it? A whole bunch of animals. What do? You get on an animal and you just go in circles and circles, being controlled by a whole bunch of animals, being looped mentally by a whole bunch of animals. The merry-go-round. You know, why couldn't you have instead of animals, you could have put some planets on there or something, or some something that, no, I ain't gonna say that. That's no. That dealing with the books you need to read, and y'all, that's for the futurtarians. But the whole point I'm making is that, yeah, everything's already been set and put in place for y'all to be just looped mentally and build the foundation of the planet and keep society running until the custodians can actually run it the right way it's supposed to be ran. The evolution, the APB. If you are one and you know you're one and you listening to this and you like, how can I get in contact with them? How can I get in contact with them? Going back to XBay. You got mental contact with us. Right? Cyberverse contact with us. You can go outside, look at Sirius A. You know what I'm saying? Go outside, tap into the sun's rays. Rock. The sun, if the sun's gone, tap into the earth's core. There's always a sun that you can tap into. There's always one around. But even at nighttime, when I broke down in that last live stream, when the earth rotates and the sun's on the other side, and that's the reason why you get a lot of ideas at night, because the sun's going through the core. It's going through the earth's core, so that all that magnetism, all that that reactor, that reaction, that ray action shaking up, and you just wake up in the middle of the night. It's 2:55, you just woke up, or 3:30 in the morning, you just woke up. You can't go back to sleep. You're receiving all these ideas because you're getting the dual energy from the two closest suns. You're getting the dual energy from the two closest suns. Right? And then even dealing with Mars and Venus and all that, who's to say that they don't have a core either? That's still lit. Mercury, this energy's everywhere. It's just a multiple it's being multi tapped in. Multi-tapped into the highest frequencies, and even going past that, because that's just the starting point. You could even go past the rays. And oh man, I just received some intel too. But going past the rays, and but going back to the topic, man, sending the signal out. The signal's gonna be out. It's gonna keep going out. And it's going to keep beaming, and it's going to attach to the right ones. And because as time goes on, there was somebody had came to me about 2 months ago, and he said to me, he goes, you know what? He's like, man, your guys' videos is deep. He's like, man, I'm just listening to like other people, and there's just like, man, it's just like, he said it out of his own mouth. There is nothing else, man, really to listen to that's really like food for thought. I'm like, okay, so what's next after that? Well, I'm not really knowing if I'm ready, because that's fine, whatever floats your boat. Now, when I'm looking at him and what he's going through, right, trying to push something where everybody that he's trying to push it to is not on that mindset, it becomes frustrating. Very frustrating. So the stuff that he's going through, unless he might have just tapped out and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go back to being conscious and woke. Just going to go back to being conscious and woke and just dig it. Because, people, the thing about this life, it can be lonely, but it's never lonely with us because we always got somebody to talk to. See, that's the difference. Give you another example while we sending the APB out to the ones on the planet. There was a teacher on the internet just now, hasn't did a video in 3 weeks, popped up out of nowhere, said, yeah, I've been trying to do all this teaching to these people with mental illness and I can't do it by myself. I'm getting real frustrated and I need help. Is anybody out there that can help? And we sitting in the cut laughing like, because we know it's going to get worse for people, because once you get to that level, when you get to a mental level, right? If you don't have if you don't have backup with that mental level, then you don't. Everything becomes more frustrating for you. It's like the brother Zarez. He tried to go live on Podbean, and there was a situation where he couldn't go live on Podbean. I said, "Cool, I'll go live on Podbean." Boom, went on live on Podbean. He was online in 5 minutes doing his live stream, because the whole galactical code system is showing that the collective is always going to be more than one. I'm gonna give you another example. When you're in the city, and you're on the streets or the highway, right? When a city bus comes through, do you have to move? Exactly. You know why you have to move? Because there's more people on that bus. That's why you got to get out the way. That's why you got to give them the right of way, because there's more people on that bus. This has been shown to you throughout your whole life. When that bus put his blinker on, you have to slow down and let that bus come in. You know why? Because you're in that car by yourself. You're in that car by yourself, so you just got to bow down to the collective. Especially going back and just dealing with the so-called black race, man. The collectives that they move in, they're not moving in a mind state of power, though. You got your churches, you got your gangs, you got your business groups, but they're not moving in a state of mind power. That's where they fail at. That's where they're falling at. That's why they're getting shot in the neighborhoods. That's why they're getting guns dropped down, crates of guns dropped in the back of the alleys of projects, and don't even know where they came from. You know, when the crime rate starts to decrease, then all of a sudden you got this mysterious package that just pops up out of nowhere. You know, but when you're dealing with simple-minded people, they're going to run into it. It's just like a kid in the candy store, the kid mind frame. Grow up physically, but then grow up mentally. You grew up physically, but then grow up mentally. Anybody can trigger you dealing with power and being manipulated when you just think it's a coincidence. You gonna tell me it's a coincidence that there's a crate of guns sitting behind the alley in the projects, just sitting there? But see, because that one crate can produce decades of chaos. One crate can produce decades of chaos. Don't have to drop one off for another 30, 40, 50 years until the crime rate starts going back down again. Oh, the crime rate's going down? Yeah, it went down 10%, 12%. Here comes another crate. Bow. But see, that's when you're dealing with simple-minded people, because they're not activated, so they can't see all this stuff that's being projected into their neighborhoods to keep their children in a degenerate mind state. That's why this is the signal out. This is the world signal out to the ones on the planet, because the souls are in the atmosphere right now. The portal opened on 11/11. Future souls just came through here like they're thinking it's spaceships. Nope, it's souls, the unseen. Shoo, 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 shoo. The true untouchables. The true untouchables. That's why we sending the APB out, just like in Batman. Just like in Batman, when Gotham was going through it, what they do, they put that Batman symbol up in the air. Batman had to wake up. He be in his mansion in his silk boxers. Like, his butler come, Batman, you have to wake up. Batman will look out the window, be dressed quick as Superman, hop in his little car and be gone. Yeah, the APB has been put out through the cyberverse and off every sun that's in the solar system, because there's more than one sun. There's more than one sun in the solar system. You standing on one right now. You standing on the sun right now. It's just a smaller version of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Earth's core sun is the size of an orange. Magnetism. Mind power. That's why we have to send the APB out. And a fire topic. Shout out to the council members, United Futurtarians. And if you want to chime in, Brother Zarez, go ahead.
Yes, wonderful breakup by Brother AF1 again. Check him out every Monday and Tuesday here on Podbean as Futuritarians Activation Channel at 8:30 CST. Again, that's Central Time. So again, we are once walking with once, walking with ones. Again, check us out every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday as Futuritarians Activation Channel and the Next Nuclear Radio Show, bringing forth synchronized intelligence in its power state to evolve the planet forward next now. So with today's topic being sending out signals to the ones on the planet, because again, this signal that we're putting out will only become more and more amplified and more powerful. So to the point where just like how we're hearing these like loud pitches and like these loud like ringing noises in our ear based on like those high pitched noises in our ear, it's also going to be just like that. People are going to keep hearing that they're ringing in their ear. And for the ones that can register or who hear that, again, that's that signal. That's that sign that, hey, again, if you're able to hear that, then that means, again, you have a purpose, or you serve a purpose as far as, again, either, being a part of the council, or again, just in so many words, you are not, hearing it for no reason. There's a reason for everything as to why. Again, we recognize that by way of solargy or by way of counseling, again, us coming and creating the council in this power state as future activated souls, it has caused so much, what you say, again, shift, or so much advancement, so much acceleration as far as the planet, the way that it's developing, the way things are going. Again, everybody, like Brother Abram was talking about, like a couple years ago, back in 2020, everyone was saying that in the year, I think it was December of 2020, they were talking about how, after a certain shift, I think it was December 21st, 2020, they're supposed to get powers. And again, ever since that day, what's crazy is nobody wanted to address the fact that those motherfuckers was lying. No one wanted to address that. All they did was, again, they just swept it under the rug and act like it didn't happen. like fucking brother AF1 said that one, I think one live they go talking about how everybody wants to sweep everything under the rug and not address it. But we're here to address all of the, what you say, inconsistencies when it comes to these teachers, bringing forth soul core in action or correction, that core growth in action as activated souls and minds. So this shit is actually taking place because it has to. We are the cleanup men and women or janitors to bring forth, again, balance, to cause the planet to shift forward and no longer be looped. That's why this year is 2022 being the sixth, because we're breaking out of that physical metal loop process as far as what we do as a council and what we are ultimately going to bring forth as far as the utopia and what we're going to do to raise those other souls and minds of Generation Alpha and, moving forward. Again, that influence as, again, God luminaries, because, again, we're radiating so much intelligence. We're radiating so much power. Again, people feel this shit. They feel the shift if they feel us putting out that solargy or that neutral frequency being that signal. That neutral frequency is that, again, that frequency to collectivize, to come together and extend this planet forward. Again, breaking out of all of the humanities, breaking out of all of that stuff. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm wondering why when people come around us, they're wondering why, we don't talk proper and we don't talk black. We talk in the 11th state. That's why our number is the 11. The 11 equals balance. The 11 is sideways. When you pause your phone, when you pause your YouTube channel, when you pause anything on this planet, you're going to see that number 11 until the day you die. Because we already put these codes in place. That's why our numbers are ones walking with the ones. There is nothing else after this. The first ones on the planet will be the last ones to leave. And when you look at what's going around right now and what's going around, just dealing with the CV, the JB, the 5 Jizzle. See, they ain't even talking about 5 Jizzle no more. They did a really good job with that. But that has to be put in place. And we're really not concerned about that because the activating your junk DNA and turning it to DEA, those rays won't affect us. That's why they're not affecting us mentally. And like I said, man, this is an APB out to the ones who runs across the planet, man. So, you're going to start seeing everybody going through mental breakdowns. You know, You want all this stuff to go away. You want all this stuff that's on the planet to go away. Then all you gotta do, I tell them, share the videos. Share the videos, because we're not looking for money. Money don't mean nothing. Money means nothing. Money is nothing but a tool. That's all it is. Money is a tool. But when you're dealing with mental mind power, alternate shifting, the way people have been taught by Google, Siri, and Alexa, Webster Dictionary, and encyclopedias, and then now, now the decoders are back from the future, decoding all these words and breaking everything down, because the stealth definition to these words, they have a meaning also. So, one word can mean something on paper, but then mean something in secret. So the APB is getting put out. We're gonna keep moving forward, and it's just a beautiful thing right now. Just even living in this time frame right now during this time, because it's like, man, finally, it's like year after year, teacher after teacher, doctrine after doctrine, this and that to get to this point. It was a long journey, man, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it, man, because when you start well, you'll see in the future. You'll see a lot of these teachers that's on the internet. You'll see them in the future. Mental breakdowns. They're gonna feel lonely. They're gonna feel like everything and this is in the future. They're gonna feel like everything they did on the cyberverse and with their conferences and all that stuff and all those get-togethers. When they start getting older, they're gonna feel that what I really did that whole time in my life, that really alter and shift the minds of people. They're not saying it now because it's not hitting them right now, but it will hit them in the future. Guaranteed, it will hit them in the future. Because as these videos start circulating and people start hearing it, that's why I tell them. And sometimes AF1 gets a little bit hard on the mic. And I'm like, okay, and I was telling the brother Cosmos today, I said, now it's just time to just hit them with the reality. Just start hitting them with the reality and just start looking at everything for what it is and how stuff going to alter and shift the planet is with intel and with consistency, and just keep everything moving forward, because trust me, we see teachers on the internet come over here. We've saw this stuff multiple times. I'm talking about millionaire teachers, this and that. And then we like, did they just say that? Like, we was talking about that a year ago. Now they're like, oh yeah, because their God is Google, Siri, and Alexa. They're never going to acknowledge the source of the intel, because they have an ego problem, and they don't want one reason why, especially some of the fallen ones that are down here, because the ones that are down here, it's just that they're still caught in this three-dimensional BS. The ones that are down here, that's why we say the activated ones, because there's fallen ones down here, man. But the activated ones, the ones that's going to get past the activation, man, and just give up everything they did, man, and start from scratch. They're not going to do that. So who's full of crap and who's not? Because that's what it all boils down to. Who's full of crap? Who's willing to sacrifice and who's willing not? Because when you're dealing with the age of Aquarius, sacrifices must be made. Even if you feel like you want to be, a teacher and this and that, and because that's why I said in the future, they're going to sit there, they're going to be like, on their deathbed or something. They're going to be like, man, one thing, you're going to be talking to somebody. Man, one thing about the Futurtarians? Like, right, what about them? Man, they was right. They was actually fucking right, man. Because there is nothing else. Ain't nothing but intel and mind power, and that's it. The physical never worked with the black race. It never worked, and it won't work in the future. Who's salvageable and who's not? A lot of people still worrying about the physical one, worried about civil war, worried about this, worried about that, man. All that stuff is propaganda, man. If it happens, it happens. So what? What about the minds of your people? Do anything to get you off. Do anything to get you off mental mind power. You know, that's the thing about the East Indians, man. The East Indians, they be like, you know, they send their children to America. They're like, no, you got to be a doctor. You got to be a accountant. You got to be, you got to deal with tech, computer tech, something like that, because they understand that people that are on that type of level, if something happens on a global level, then they will be worth saving. Now go look at the black race on that level. How many people are actually doing that on a massive scale level? Not a lot. Not a lot. So just going back to the topic, sending out the signals to the ones on the planet, man, because they down here. The Avengers is walking around everywhere and don't even know it. The Avengers is walking around everywhere and don't even know it. They can feel it, but you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice, man. It's the only way, you know, especially dealing with the age of Aquarius, man. This is the age of destruction and rebuild. Destruction of what? If you gotta you know, leave a certain situation, that's called destruction. If you gotta leave a certain situation and rebuild, that's destruction. Everybody's thinking on a physical level. It's not physical, it is a mental. When you're dealing with these other nations, the East Indians and these other races and stuff like that, when they hear something like that, they think on a physical level. Being crust bound, earth bound, prison. But see, dealing with the Futurtarians, we thinking on everything on a mental level, because we understand that the physical war will not be won. The mental war can be won at any time. Mind over matter. That's why when you're dealing with Black Lives Matter, because the sad part is they don't. They tell you Black Lives Matter, but they're not. See, with them on that phrase, they're not talking about physical. When they say Black Lives Matter, they're talking about on a mental level, because they still want you to be black mentally. So that's why they're saying black matters, because they know black means death and darkness and mental stagnancy. That's why the reset, Generation Alpha's back. Generation Z's here right now in the current state, but the cyberverse is out, so everything's speeding up. It's not going to take it's not going to take 2 or 3 decades for the next generation. The cyberverse is out. Everything's speeding up. As the moon gets further from the earth speeds up, so the minds of the activated ones will speed up also. Fire topic, sending the signals out to the ones on the planet. And we're going to close out, Brother Zerez. If you want to close out, go ahead, and I'll finish it back after that.
Okay, before I continue, for that one person that just came in here who's been here for a while, you know, we know that you pick it through the blinds, but ultimately at the end of the day, you know, I already scanned you, and I ultimately know who you are, but your name will basically, you know, remain unsaid. But again, you know, that just goes to show you right there, people are again picking, you know, through the blinds, but they don't want to come over here and build things for it. So yeah, we see you. Yeah, we see you. Mm-hmm. DKNY. Yep.
Just touch
We
on
see
that
you.
real quick. The thing is with that is because they understand that when they do things like that, when they come over here and they listen, because if they listen to the last live we did, whoever that is, go listen to the last live we did thoroughly. Just listening to it thoroughly, and I broke down what will happen to people dibbling and dabbling in the intel or even trying to mess with the Futurtarians. So go back and listen to that live thoroughly, and then you'll understand why we don't give a fuck. Go ahead, brother.
So yes, like right when you said, I think just gonna go back to where you talked about how we're moving forward, but ultimately we're always saying that we're moving forward. So again, you know, we're not holding on to all that is old. I can give you an example as how, like you said, brother AF1, everybody on this planet is basically, you know, in their gene code is, they're meant to protect intelligence. So that's why, again, when it comes to them, demolition old buildings, because again, just think if they kept all these old buildings from the past, think about how much overcrowding. So again, they have to clear up or basically be demolition men, like how we are being demolition men and women, ultimately coming down to this planet and again, breaking down this old system to further bring forth and build up a new system. So moving forward next now as ones, bringing forth power next now. So again, we are Futurtarians. Again, we are the United Futurtarians as walking one. Check out Brother F1 tomorrow here on Podbean at 8:30 CST. Again, we are walking ones again. And then following tomorrow, we got Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, which is the Next Week Radio Show. Again, same time, 8:30 CST. We are one, centralized. Again, dealing with the whole CA. We are CSI, goddammit. Central Soul Intelligence next now. So again, bringing forth again this, what you say, exclusive intel that will only and can only be channeled through a council mind frame. There's a council mind frame and a council setting next now. So again, people trying to imitate and fake it, again, it's not going to work. Y'all only wasting time and sending out the signals to the ones is what we're ultimately doing to, again, speed things up. So this signal that we're sending out will only become felt. It will only become more amplified as we further keep moving forward. As we move forward, keep building on more power and amplifying more power next now. So again, we are one. We are one. We are one. Again, shout out to all those future ones that will come over here and further be extended soulfully and mentally by way of this power, true soul collectivity through synchronized intelligence next now by way of Futurtarians Activation Channel and the Next Week Radio Show. We are ones walking one. So brother AF1, go ahead.
Wonderful breakup by the brothers of Reyes, and we're just going to keep moving forward, being mentally extended, and bringing forth a lot of next things that we don't say on the cyberverse. That's why we keep telling y'all ain't nothing else. Like, we don't tell y'all everything on the cyberverse. Are you serious? Or matter of fact, we are serious. A, B, and C. So just moving back to the topic, sending out the signals to the ones on the planet, because the signal is going to get amplified, it's going to get turned up. Once we hit the other platforms, it's really going to get turned up, because the reason why we haven't hit Patreon, Blog Talk Radio, the other platform that Zareas was talking about, because we do just like the big dogs do. We sit back, we scan, and we watch first. We don't move by emotions. We scan and we watch first. See, and that's what you do. That's how power moves. You scan everything, you watch everything, then you make your move. It's just the same thing when you're dealing with warfare. What do they call it? They call it gathering recon. See, we gather recon first, then we step into different platforms. Because once we do, then it's going to be game over. Peace, power, and soul to the council. It's the activated AF1 fire topic. Shout out to all the council members. We're sending the signal out to the ones that are on the planet. We know you down here, but we know you ain't activated. So you already know there's nothing else but intel, future, soul activation. Peace, power, and soul.